Hello, my name is John Guare. I'm talking to Michael Wood. We're on the 4th floor of Juilliard, where Terrence McNally and I teach a class in playwriting. And Michael has just told me that, and has handed me a release, that you're doing my play, 6 Degrees, at WSU. And I want to salute Judith Babnick, David Blatt, Betty Monroe, and I want to see Jason Ogg and Heidi Gehring, Fran and Wisa, Flan and Wisa, Paul, who's played by Damian Brown, and the rest of the cast. I'm so happy you're doing the play. It's one of the great things about being a playwright, is that suddenly you find yourself sharing your dreams with strangers all over the world, and then we become friends. For some strange reason I don't understand, the play is now in its 2nd year in Istanbul, and now it's being done in Wichita, and it's been done in Australia, and it's being done in Japan and Israel, and I am, I think, the luckiest of human beings. I'm a playwright, and I'm really happy to I'm really happy and pleased to learn that that you're doing my play, and I love the fact that you said that that the deeper meaning of the play didn't reveal itself until they began to rehearse. I mean, that I think is the. I mean, we live to be in rehearsal. That to me is the greatest thing about being in the theater. Not the performances so much. That's just the icing on the cake. But I think our life is spent in rehearsal, and I'm so happy that you found more in my play on the last day than you did on the first day, and I hope you've had fun. And friends who saw the play in Istanbul were amazed. They said, John, the laughs in Turkish were exactly the same as they were in English in New York and in London, and they're ringing in my ears right now from Wichita. So thank you very, very much, and it's my pleasure and privilege to be able to say hello to all of you. To Jennifer and Brad and Karen and Lonnie and Kira and Andrea and Jameson and Mick and Rachel and Larry and Tim and Kurt and Diana. And you will please contact Judith Babnick and call 316-689-3233 for tickets. Thank you very much.
If I should die before I wake.
Oh, if I should die. Oh, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Oh, it's awful.
We're alive. Oh, honey. Hello? Hello?
Don't call out hello.
I think we'd tell somebody else we're here.
No, we didn't all night. Oh, it was awful, 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 awful.
We were having a wonderful evening last night.
A friend we hadn't seen for many years came by for dinner.
A friend from South Africa.
Say it so portentously.
A friend from South Africa.
Don't be gaga. My husband, J. Flanders Kitteridge, an art dealer.
Excuse me, private sales, purchases.
We knew our friend from South Africa.
Through our children when they lived in New York.
They had gone back to South Africa.
She was here in New York briefly on business when she called and asked us to ask her for dinner.
She is King Midas rich, literally. Gold mine.
70,000 workers in just one gold mine.
But she's always short of cash because her government won't let its people.
It's white people.
It's white people take out any money. So it's like taking in a war baby.
When she called, it was like a bolt from the blue, as I had a deal coming up and was short by...
2 million.
The figure is superfluous.
I hate it when you use the word superfluous. I mean, we hadn't seen Joffrey in a long time, and while Joffrey might not have the price of a dinner, she could easily have $2 million.
The currents last night were very
We
turning.
weren't sucking up. We liked Joffrey.
It's an awful thing of having truly rich folk for friends.
Yes. Face it, the money does
Only
get in
if
the
you
way.
let it. The fact of the money shouldn't get in the way.
Having a rich friend is like drowning. Your friend makes lifeboats. Only your friend gets very touchy if you say one little word. Lifeboat. Oh, well now that's 2 words, isn't it? But we were afraid. Our South African friend might say, oh, you only love me for my lifeboats, but we like Joffrey.
It wasn't a life-threatening evening.
Rich people can do something for you, even if you're not sure what it is you want them to do.
Hardly a lifeboat evening.
Hortensia.
But when Jafria called, she made a sudden pattern in life's little tea leaves because who wants to go to banks? She called and our tempest settled into showers and life was manageable. What more can you want?
Listen. It always amazes me when New York is so quiet.
With the kids away, we get used to a lower noise quotient.
Jafria, you have to move out of South Africa.
Why do you stay in South Africa? One has to stay there to educate the black workers. And we'll know we've been successful when they kill us.
Planning a revolution that will destroy you.
Putting your life on the line.
No, you don't think about that. Oh, I do wish you would come and visit.
Oh, but we would visit you and sit in your gorgeous house, planning trips into the townships, demanding to see the poorest of the poor. Are you sure they're the worst off? I mean, well, we've come all this way. We don't want to see people mildly victimized by apartheid. We demand shock. It just doesn't seem right sitting on the east side talking about revolution.
Only small, murky cafes for Pepe Le Moco here.
No. La Passionaria. I will come to South Africa and build barricades, lean against them, singing.
And the people would follow.
Follow, follow, follow. What's that song?
The way Gorbachev cheered on the striking miners in the Ukraine. Yes, you must strike. It is your role in history to dismantle the system. Russia and Poland. Oh, you can't believe the developments in the world. The fantastics. Follow, follow, follow.
China.
Oy vey, China. As my grandmother would say. Our role in history, and we offer ourselves up to it.
That is your role in history, not our role.
A role in history, to say that so easily.
Would you like another drink before we go?
No.
The phrase, striking coal miners. Oh, I see all these very striking coal miners modeling the fall fashion.
Where should we?
There's good Szechuan and mash.
The sign painter screwed up the sign. Instead of reading the Hunan Walk, he painted the Human Walk.
God, the restaurant. New York has become the Florence of the 16th century. Genius on every corner.
Yes, well, I don't think genius has kissed the Human Walk.
Well, do the new Italian look cheery?
Good. We made reservations.
They wrap ravioli up like saltwater taffy.
6 on a plate for a few $100s.
Oh, you must come to South Africa to visit so I can pay you back. Oh, I'll take you on my plane into the Akabanga swamps.
Did you hear? To take back to Johannesburg? Out in East Campus.
Last weekend,
A guy goes into one of the better food stores.
Dean and
Now,
DeLuca.
one of the things is little light. Gets a pack of cigarettes and an ice cream bar. Goes up front. sees there's a light at the register, slaps down two $20 bills and goes out.
We sent it to the Times.
They have a joke page and things around New York.
They send you a bottle of champagne.
Oh, we weren't auditioning. Oh, but I kept thinking, oh, $2 million, $2 million.
It's like when people say, don't think about elephants. And all you can do is think about elephants, elephants, elephants.
$2 million, $2 million. Oh, whatever you do, don't think about elephants. Elephants?
Oh, Louis says a Dada manifesto.
Well, tell me about the Cézanne.
Oh, it's mid-period. Landscape of a dark green forest. In the far distance you see a burst of sunlight. One of his first uses of a pale color being forced to carry the weight of the picture. The experiment that would pay off in the apples. A burst of color has to carry so much. Well, the Japanese don't like anything about it except as a Cézanne.
I am so sorry, Shabaki. I've been hurt and I've lost everything. Your kids. I'm a friend of...
And he mentioned our daughter's name.
And the school where they went.
Harvard. You can say Harvard.
We don't want to get into libel.
I was mugged out there in Central Park by that statue of that Alaskan Husky. I was standing there trying to figure out why there's a statue of a dog who saves lives in Yukon in Central Park. And I was standing there trying to figure it out when...
Okay, that's...
They took my money in my briefcase. I said, my thesis is in there.
His shirt's bleeding.
His shirt isn't bleeding, he's bleeding.
I get this way around blood.
Not on the rug.
No, oh gosh. I don't mind the money so much, but in this age of mechanical reproduction, they managed to get the only copy of my thesis.
Eddie, get the doctor.
No, I'll survive.
You'll be fine. Oh. Doctor, Eddie, please.
We bathed him. We did first aid.
To be nice, see?
No, stay. $2 million, $2 million.
Nice, stay.
Where are the bandages?
The Red Cross advises that press edges will firmly together. Wash your hair with water.
May I do so?
Oh, no, darling, oh, just sit down. Take a moment. Claire, go into Woody's room and get him a clean shirt. Jeffrey, have you seen the new book on Cézanne? I ran down the hall, got the book on Cézanne, got the gauze for my bathroom. I gave the Cézanne to Flan, who wanted the gauze, and gave the gauze to Geoffrey, who wanted the Cézanne. $2 million, $2 million.
Oh, he's going to be fine.
And peace was restored.
Your kids said you were kind. All the kids were sitting around the dorms one night, dishing the shit out of their parents. But your kids were silent and said, no, not our parents, not Planet Lisa, not the Kittredges. The Kittredges are kind. So after the Muggers left, I looked up and saw these Fifth Avenue apartments. Now I know the Babcocks live there. The Oshkosh is there, Miss Onassis is there, but you lived here. I came here.
Oh, can you believe what the kids said about us?
We mentioned our kids' names.
We can mention our kids' names. Our children are not going to sue us for using their names.
But your kids, I love them. Talbot and Woody mean the world to me.
He let you call him Woody? Nobody's called him Woody in years.
They describe this apartment in detail. The Kandinsky, that's a double, one painted on either side.
We flip it around for variety.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Vasily Kandinsky, born 1866 Moscow. Blue Rider Exhibition, 1914. He said, "It is clear that the choice of object, that is one of the elements in the harmony of form, must be decided only by a corresponding vibration of the human soul." Died, 1944, France.
It's the way they said it would be.
Geoffrey had been silent up until now.
Did you pitch your parents?
As a matter of fact, no. Your kids and I, we both liked our parents, loved our parents. Look, am I getting into the way? I mean,
Tell us about our children.
3, 2 at Harvard, another girl at Groton.
How is Harvard?
well, fine. It's just there. Everyone's in a constant state of luxurious despair and constant discovery and paralysis.
We asked him where home was.
Out west, he said.
Although I've lived all over, my folks are divorced, he's remarried, he's doing a movie.
Oh, he's in the movie?
He's directing this one, but he does act.
What's he directing?
Cats.
Someone is directing a film of cats?
Now, don't be snooty.
You've seen it. T.S. Eliot wrote a book.
Well, yes, years ago.
A benefit for some disease or school.
Surely they can make a movie of cats.
Oh, of course they can.
They're going to try. My father will be here auditioning.
Cats.
He's going to use people.
Oh, what a courageous
They
stand.
thought of lots of ways to go. Animation.
Animation would be nice.
But he found a better way. As a matter of fact, he turned it down at first. He went to tell the producers, as a courtesy, all the reasons why you couldn't make a movie of cats. And then going through all the reasons why you couldn't make a movie of cats, he suddenly saw how you could make a movie of cats.
Eureka in the bathtub. How wonderful.
May we ask who?
And it was here we pulled up. Ever so slightly. Pulled up closer.
And he told us.
Oh, he mentioned the greatest black star in the movies, Sidney.
Don't say it! We're trying to keep this abstract. Plus, libel laws.
Sidney Poitier. I don't care. We have to have truth. He started out as a lawyer and is terrified of libel. I'm not.
Sidney Poitier, the future Jackie Robinson of the films, was born the 24th of February, 1927, in Miami. During a visit his parents made to Florida, legally to sell tomatoes his parents had grown on the farm in the Bahamas. He grew up in Cat Island, so poor they didn't even own dirt. Neglected by his family, my father would sit on the shore, and as he has told me many a time, conjure up the kinds of worlds that are on the other side and what I do in them. He arrived in New York City from the Bahamas at age 15 and a half in the winter of 1943 and lived at the pay toilet of the bus station, across from the old Madison Square Garden building. He moved to the roof of the Brill building, commonly known as Tin Pan Alley. He washed dishes for $4.11 a night. He taught himself to read by reading the newspaper. In the black newspaper, the theater page is opposite the one-act page. Among his 42 films are No Way Out in 1950, Cry the Beloved Country 1952, Black Bull Jungle 1955, The Defiant 1958, A Raisin in the Sun 1961, Lilies of the Field 1963, To Soar with Love 1967, In the Heat of the Night 1967, Shoot to Kill 1988, and of course, guess who's coming to dinner? He won the Oscar for Lilies in the Field and was twice named top male box office star in the country. My dad made no films from 1977 to 1987, but worked as an author and a director. Dad said to me once, I still don't fully understand how that all came about, and the sequence that it all came about. Dad got in to tomorrow at the Sherry. I came down from Cambridge, thought I'd say it's some flea bag for adventure. Orwell, down and out. I don't really know New York. I know Rome and Paris and Los Angeles a lot better.
We're going to dinner, and you'll come.
Out to dinner?
Out to dinner.
But why go out to dinner?
Oh, because we have reservations and... Oh, my God. Have we missed the reservation? We don't have a damn thing in the house. Oh, and it's 16th century Florence and genius on every block. Don't knock.
You must have something in the fridge.
What frozen steak from the Ice Age?
Well, why spend $100 on a bowl of rice? Let me into that kitchen. Cooking. It calms me. And what I like to do is calm down, pay back your kids.
And he mentioned our children's names.
2 at Harvard, a daughter at Groton.
Who've been wonderful to me.
They never mentioned you.
Now, what are they supposed to say? We've become friends with the son of Sidney Poitier, barrier breaker of the 50s and 60s.
Oh, your father means a great deal in South Africa.
Oh, even Joffrey was touched.
I'm glad of that. Dad and I went to a film festival in Russia, and he was truly amazed at how much his presence meant.
No, tell us stories about movie stars tying up their children and being cruel.
I wish.
You wish?
If I wanted to write a book about him, I really could. No one would want to read it. He's decent. I admire him.
He's married to an actress who is in one of... Oh, well, now she's white, am I right?
That is not my mother. That is his second wife. He met Joanna, making The Lost Man. That's my mom, who had stuck by him in the lean years. I had just been born. The Lost Man is the only film of his that I cannot bring myself to see.
Look, I'm sorry, I really didn't mean
No,
to.
it's okay. We're all good friends now. His kids from that marriage, us, the old kids. I'd really like to get in that kitchen.
What should we do?
It's Joffrey's only night in New York.
I hope. Stay in.
Good.
We moved into the kitchen.
We watched him cook.
We watched him cook and
We
chop.
saw him in wizardry.
Oh, an old jar of sun-dried tomato.
Leftovers, a tuna fish, olives, onions.
Here's dinner already.
Should I move into the dining room?
No, let's stay here. It's nice in here.
Have you declared your major yet?
Good like all parents. What's your major?
Geography of art, those great titles that the students give courses.
The Holocaust and Ethics.
Sprouts and doubts.
Oh, this is the best pasta that I've
My
ever...
father insisted we learn to cook.
Isn't he from Jamaica? There's a taste
The island.
Before he made it, he ran 4 restaurants in Harlem. You got good buzz.
See? Good buds. Oh, I've never been complimented on my buds before.
You're from
Johannesburg.
Johannesburg. My dad and I went to a movie shot in South Africa. The camera moved from this vile rioting in the streets to a villa where people picked at lunch on a terrace. The only riot, birds and flowers, gorgeous plumage and petals. And I didn't understand. And Dad said to me, you meet these young blacks. They're having a terrible time. They've had a totally inadequate education. And yet in '76, the year of the Soweto riots, they took on a tremendous political responsibility. It just makes you wonder in the maturity of it. It makes you realize that the crummy childhood theory that everything can be blamed on a Freudian fashion because you've had a bad upbringing just doesn't hold water. Is everything okay?
Oh, yes, yeah. Now, what about being black in America?
My problem is I've never felt American. I grew up in Switzerland, boarding school, Vie Rosé.
There is a boarding school in Switzerland that will take you at age 18 months.
That's not me. I never felt people like me for my connections. Movie star kid problems, none of those. May I?
Oh.
No, it's okay, I'll get it. But I never realized I was black in that racist way till I came back here. Very protected, white servants. After the divorce, we moved to Switzerland. My mother, brother, and I. I don't feel American. I don't even feel black. And I suppose that is very lucky for me. Even though Freud says there's no such thing as luck, just what you make of it.
Does Freud say that?
Uh-huh.
Well, I think we're lucky having this dinner. Isn't this the finest time?
It is.
A toast to you.
A toast.
Oh, to cats.
Cats.
To cats.
The cats.
A blunt question. What's he like?
Let's not be star fuckers.
I'm not a star.
My father, being an actor, has no real identity. You say to him, Pop, what's new? And he says, I got an interesting script today. I was asked to play a lumberjack in the Yukon. Now, I've been trained as a preacher, my church fell apart, and my wife says we have to get money to get through this winter. So I sign up as part of this team, where all my beliefs are challenged. But I hold firm in spite of you, in spite of prejudice, because I want to get back to you, back to the church, out of this forest. And my father is in tears. And I say to him, Pop, this is not a real event. This is some script that was sent to you. And he says, I'm trying it out to see how it fits on. But he has no life. He has no adventure. Only the scripts that producers send him in the mail. That's his past.
Oh, I just love the kid so much. I wanted to reach out to him.
We asked him what his thesis was on.
The one that was stolen. Please.
Well,
A substitute teacher, out on line assignment, was dropped from his job for fighting with a student. A few weeks later, the teacher returns to the classroom, shot the student, unsuccessfully, held the class hostage, and then shot himself, successfully. This fact caught my eye. Last sentence, Times. A neighbor described him as a nice boy, always reading, catching the ride. The nitwit Chapman who shot John Lennon said he did it because he wanted to draw the attention of the world to Catcher in the Rye, and the reading of that book would be his defense. And young Kinkley, the whiz kid who shot President Reagan and his press secretary, said, if you want my defense, all you have to do is read Catcher in the Rye. Seemed to be a time to read it again.
oh, I haven't read it in years.
Shh. Well, I borrowed a copy from a young friend of mine because I wanted to see why this touching, beautiful, sensitive story, published in July 1951, had turned into this manifesto of hate. It's exactly as I remember it. Everyone's a phony. Page 2. My brother's in Hollywood being a prostitute. Page 3. People never notice anything. Page 9. What a phony slob his father was. Then, on page 22. Remember Holden Caulfield? The definitive, sensitive youth wearing his red hunter's cap? This is a deer hunter cap? Like hell it is. I sort of close one eye like I'm taking aim at it. This is a people shooting hat. I shoot people with this hat. I said. This book is preparing people for bigger moments in their lives than I ever dreamed of. Then, on page 89. I'd rather push a guy out of a window or chop his head off with an axe than sock him in the jaw. I hate fist fights. What scares me the most is the other guy's face. I finished the book. It's a touching story, comic, because the boy wants to do so much and can't do anything. Hates all phonies and only lies to others, wants everyone to like him, and is only hateful. Is completely self-involved. In other words, a pretty accurate description of the male adolescent. And what alarms me about the book, not the book so much as the aura about it, is this. The book is primarily about paralysis. The boy can't function. And at the end, before he can run away and start a new life, it starts to rain. And he folds. Now, there's nothing wrong in writing about emotional and intellectual paralysis. It may indeed, thanks to Chekhov and Samuel Beckett, be the great modern theme. The extraordinary last lines of Waiting for Godot. Let's go. Yes, let's go. Stage directions. They do not move. But the aura around this book of Salinger's, which perhaps should be read by everyone but young men, is this. It mirrors like a funhouse mirror and distorts like an amplified speaker. One of the greatest tragedies of our times, the death of the imagination. Because what else is paralysis? The imagination has become so debased that the imagination, being imaginative rather than being the linchpin of our existence, now stands as something outside ourselves, like science fiction, or some new use for tangerine slices on raw pork chops. What an imaginative summer recipe. And Star Wars, so imaginative. And Star Trek, so imaginative. And Lord of the Rings, oh, all those drawers, so imaginative. But the imagination has moved out of the realm of being our link, almost personal link with our inner lives in this world we share. What is schizophrenia but a horrifying say where what's in here doesn't match out with what's out there? Why has imagination become a synonym for style? I believe the imagination is a passport we create to take ourselves into the real world. I believe the imagination is another phrase for what is most uniquely us. Jung says the greatest sin is to be unconscious. Our boy Holden says what scares me the most is the other guy's face. It wouldn't be so bad if we could both be blindfolded. Most of the time, the faces we face are not the other guy's faces, but our own faces. And it's the worst kind of yellowness to be so scared of yourselves you put blindfolds on rather than deal with yourself. To face ourselves, that's the hard part. The imagination, that's God's gift to make the act of self-examination bearable.
Well, indeed.
I hope your muggers read every word.
Darling.
I am going to buy a copy of Catcher in the Rye at the airport and read it.
Oh, cover to cover.
I'll test you. I should be going.
Where will you stay?
And not some flea bag.
Oh, no, I get into the Sherry tomorrow. It's not so far off. I don't think they'll mug you twice in one evening.
You'll stay here tonight.
No, I have to be at the hotel at 7.
Well, we'll pick you up.
I have to be at the hotel at 7 sharp or Dad will have...
At 6:15. Oh, which is any minute now. We have that wedding in Roxbury.
There's an alarm in that room.
If there's any problems,
Only a problem if you leave.
6:15, I'll tiptoe.
Oh, and we want to be in cats.
Yes, I'll buy that. With my husband.
Oh, will she go with you?
No, she's not. Dad said that I could be in charge of the extras. And you just be extras, but that's all I can promise.
In cat suits?
No, you'll be humans.
That's very important. It has to be in our contracts. We are humans.
We haven't got any business done tonight.
Oh, forget it. It was only an evening at home.
Whatever you do, don't think about elephants.
Did I intrude?
No.
Oh gosh, I am so sorry.
There's all ways of doing business.
We embrace.
Glenn is walking to the elevator.
Plan and jump left.
Let me clean up.
No, just leave it for
No, no one comes in on Sunday. You'll have every bug in Christendom. No, let me. You, watch. It, gives me a thrill to be looked at.
You washed up.
She's in.
She's in.
She's in for 2 million.
2 million? Oh, darling!
Oh, she says the Savon is a great investment. We should get it for 6 million and sell it to the Tokyo lunch for 10.
Oh, happy day! God!
6 million, $2 million.
Can we figure it out? She doesn't have the price of her lunch. She can cough up 2 million and the Jack will go to 10. Break all those dishes. 2 million go to 10 and we put up nothing.
She sold that hot meat print. I know she got for $100 15 years ago for $34,000. Sotheby took their cut, sure, but 2 million. Wildest dreams. Paul, I should give you a commission.
Well, your kid said you were a dealer, but you don't have a gallery. I don't understand how that works.
People want to sell privately, not go to a gallery.
Taxes, divorce, publicity,
People come to me looking for a certain school of painting,
modern, impression, Renaissance,
but don't want museums to know where it is.
Japanese.
I've got Japanese looking for a Cézanne. I have a syndicate that will buy the painting. There's a great second-level Cézanne coming up for sale in a very messy divorce.
Wife doesn't want hubby to know she owns a Cézanne. Oh, tonight was a very nervous, very casual, very big thing.
Oh, I couldn't tell.
Well, all the better.
I'm glad I helped.
You were wonderful.
Oh, I am so pleased. I was wonderful. All of this and the pink shirt?
Keep it. Look at the time.
Oh, it's gonna be time for me to get up soon.
Then we should say our goodnights now.
Oh, goodness. Regretfully. I'll tiptoe.
Here, take $50.
Yes, you give him $50.
Don't need it.
Suppose your father's plane is late?
A strike, air controllers.
Walking around with money? I wouldn't want my kid to be caught in the street without a nickel.
And you saved us a fortune. Do you know what our bill would have been at that little Itai storefront?
Plus, we picked up $2 million. Oh, 1 billionth of a 10% commission is...
$50.
But I'll get it back to you tomorrow. I want my father to meet you.
Bring him up for dinner.
Well, you see how easy it is.
As long as Paul does the cooking.
Good night. First door on the right. I want to get on my knees and thank God. Money!
Oh, who says when artists dream, they dream of money? I must be such an artist. Bravo! Bravo!
At least I don't want to lose a life. I don't want all the debt to pile up and crush us.
Don't worry, it all we were safe.
For now, we almost lost it. If I hadn't got this money, we would have lost the sale. I had nowhere to get it.
Lamb, why don't you tell me how much these things mean to you? You waited for the very last
I don't want to worry.
Worry. Lean on your partner.
There is a God.
And his name is
John Guare.
Sidney. I dreamt Sidney Poitier. I dreamt that Sidney Poitier sat at the edge of my bed, and I asked him what troubled him. Sidney, what troubles you? Is it right to make a film of cats?
I know and we are. I know about her. It is too heavy with all the right life. Protect the lives of the unborn. Come to London. March. When does life begin? For the month, the end of month, the right time. Why is life at this point in the 20th century so focused on the very beginning of life and the very end? What about those 80 years we have to live in between those two impassable bookends?
And you can get all of that into cats?
I'm going to try.
Thank you. Thank you, you shall.
This is what I dreamt. I didn't dream so much as realize this. I felt so close to painting. I wasn't just selling like pieces of meat. I remembered why I loved paintings in the first place, what got me into all this. Night thoughts, dreamed, remembered how easy it is for a painter to lose a painting. He can paint and paint, work on a canvas for months, and one day he just loses it. He loses structure, loses the sense of it, you lose the painting. When the kids were little, we went to a parents' meeting at their school, and I asked their teacher why all her children were geniuses in the 2nd grade. And look at the 1st grade. Blotches of green and black. Look at 3rd grade. Camouflage. But the 2nd grade, your grade, Matisse is everyone. You've made my child a Matisse. Let me study with you. Let me into the 2nd grade. What is your secret? And this is what she said. Secrets? I don't have any secret. I just know when to take their paintings away from them. I dreamt of color. I dreamt of our son's pink shirt. I dreamt of pinks and yellows, and the new Van Gogh that the Museum of Modern Art got for $53.9 million. Wishing a Van Gogh was mine, I looked at my English hand-lasted shoes and thought of Van Gogh's tragic shoes. I remembered me as I was, a painter losing a painting. But the South African awaiting revolution came to dinner. We were safe.
Dinner was 6 a.m. and I woke up so happy looking at my clean kitchen. All the more memorable because the previous evening had left no traces. My paper was at the front door, and I sat in my kitchen happily doing the crossword puzzle in ink. Oh, everybody does it in ink. I have never met one person who didn't say they did it in ink. Oh, and I'm doing my puzzle. And I noticed the time. It's nearly 7. Paul has to meet his father. I didn't want him to be late. And was he healthy after his stabbing? Walked down the hall to the room where we had put him. Our hall is 18 feet long, and I stopped at the door. Paul?
Yes. Yes.
Paul?
Here.
Are you all right in there?
Yeah.
I opened the door and
Oh.
switched on the light.
Wait. Don't come in here. Wait. What is going on here? Who the fuck are you? Look, I can explain.
You've been out after we went to sleep and you picked up this thing?
I'm so sorry.
Touch me. These your parents? You right. You brought this thing into our house. Thing, get out. Get out of our house.
Oh, no, you... Stop it! You might have blood!
Yeah, I might have a gun. I have a knife.
Here, look, I can explain.
My $50.
I spent it.
Get out!
No. Look, y'all, is this your parents? No, they're not my parents. Hurry.
Take your clothes. You go back to sleep in the... Oh, fight! Yeah.
Look, please don't tell my father. I don't want him to know. I haven't told him yet. He doesn't know. I get so alone. I get so afraid. You guys gave me the money. I just went out and brought him back. You guys had so much. I couldn't be alone.
Go!
I'm sorry.
And that's that.
I'm shaking.
Did you stop?
It's awful.
Is anything gone?
How can I look? I'm
Are
shaking.
you taking pain?
Concentrate on
No, I
yourself.
want to know if anything is gone.
Calm down.
Could have been killed!
The Silver Victoria Inkwell.
How can you think of things? We could have been murdered!
There's the Inkwell Silver Beaver.
bed at night happy and then murdered. When we're woken up.
We're alive.
We called our kids.
No answer.
Don't pick it up. It's him.
Landis, I'm at the airport. Look, I've been thinking. The Japs really want the Cesar. Okay, you can depend on me for an additional overhaul of $250.
250,000?
And I was thinking, for South Africa, what about a Black American Film Festival? Oh, what with some Spike Lee you have now? Oh, and of course, get 48 down being president of the jury, and I know Cosby. Oh, and I love this Eddie Murphy. And my husband's been fishing in Norway with Diana Ross and the Norwegian region. Surely there must be some new flags.
Yes, it sounds a wonderful idea.
We'll call for the sheriff.
No, we'll call.
Oh, they're calling our plane. And the game last night.
No need to thank. See you shortly.
The banks?
My lawyer.
Exactly.
Safe trip. Do we have a story to tell you?
Do we have a story to tell you?
Our two and their son were at Harvard together.
And let me tell you our story.
When did your story happen?
Last night, we are still
Oh, we win. Ours happened Friday night.
We're going to be in the movies.
We're going to be in the movie again.
You tell your story first.
Baritone, the doorbell rang.
I am not impressed, but it was the son of...
You've got
The
it.
kid was not... Oh, we had to go out. We left him. Oh, he was so charming. His father was taking the red eye. He couldn't get into the hotel till 7 a.m. He stayed with us.
In the middle of the night, we heard somebody screaming, "Burglar! Burglar!" We ran up the hall. Paul is chasing this naked blonde thief down the corridor. The blonde in front out. The alarm goes off. The kid saved our lives. That was no burglar.
You had another house guest.
Paul could have been killed by that intruder. He was very...
Was anything missing from your house?
Nothing.
Did you give him any money?
Only $25 from his father of mine.
We told them our story.
Have you talked to your kids?
Can't get through.
Hi, Sherry Netherlands.
She gave the name.
Sidney Portier must be registered.
No. Oh, I'm not a
Excuse me.
fan. This is not a fan call. Look, we know he's there. His son is a
He must be there under another name.
Hi, celebrity service. I'm not sure how you work.
Greta Garbo used the name Harriet Brown.
You track down celebrities, am I right?
Everybody must have known she was Greta Garbo.
I would like to know how... No, I'm not a press agent. No, not with anyone. My husband, Flanders Kitteridge. Celebrity service doesn't give out information over the phone.
Try the public library.
Probably too.
To thank you for a wonderful time, Paul Portier. A pot of jam?
A pot of jam!
I think we should call the police.
What happened to talk to? He came into our house.
He cooked us dinner.
He told us the story of Catcher in the Rye.
He said he was the son of Sidney Poitier.
But was he? We don't know.
We gave him $50.
We gave him 25.
He picked up our husband.
He left.
He chased the burglar out of our house.
We didn't steal anything.
We looked and looked.
Top to bottom, nothing gone.
Granted, this does not seem major now. Look, we are very busy.
You can't chuck us out.
Come on, good talk, Chase. Then I'll do something. Our kids came down from Harvard.
Although I do think it's a very fine community.
And none of you know this fellow? He has a real quality, and a real consideration. Real elegance, and a real charm.
Well, Ma, you should have let him stay. You should have
for you so we can just call him up and ask him.
I have a friend who does theatrical law. I bet you...
friend?
Oh, it's nobody.
I want to know.
Oh, God! Nobody!
Whatever's going on anywhere, I don't want to know.
Nobody! Nobody!
Oh, Janet, please! For once, please! Christ! Oh, Tess! See a little sister. Tell her that he and the hustler used her bed.
You put her in that bed. I'm not getting involved in any conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy, it's a family. The imagination. That's our imagination teaches us our limits, then how to go beyond those limits. The imagination says, listen to me, I am your darkest voice. I am your 4 a.m. voice. I am the voice that wakes you up and says, this is what I am afraid of. Do not listen to me, you're paranoid. The imagination is a new voice that sees clearly and says, yes, this is what I want for my life. It's there to sort out your nightmare, to show you the exit from the maze of your nightmare, and to transform your nightmares into dreams that become your bedrock. We don't listen to that voice. It dies, it shrivels, it vanishes. The imagination is not our escape. On the contrary, the imagination is the place that we are all trying to get to.
I was seeing a patient. I'm an obstetrician at New York Hospital. And the nurse opens my office door and said there's a friend of my son's here to see me. He was more scared than hurt. Oh, a knife wound and a few bruises.
I don't know how to thank you, ma'am. My father is coming here.
He's making a fill of pants.
And then he told me the name of a matinee idol of my youth. Someone who had really forged ahead and made new paths for blacks just by the strength of his own talent. Strangely, I had identified with him before I started medical school. I mean, I'm a Jew. And my grandparents were killed in the war. And I had this sense of fear, of self-hatred. And this man's father, the bravery of his films had given me a direction, a confidence. Simple as that. We're always paying off debts. Then my beeper went off. A patient in her 10th month of labor. Her water finally broke. I gave him the keys.
Doug told me all about your brownstone. How you got it at a great price because there had been a murder in it, and for a while people thought there was a curse. But you were a scientific woman and were courageous.
Well, yes, courageous. I ran off to the delivery room. Twins, 2 boys. And then I thought of my own son at Dartmouth. Well, I phoned him up, and amazingly, he was in his room, doing what I hate to ask. So you accuse me of having no interest in life? Of not doing for friends, being a rotten mother? Well, you should be very happy.
Son of Boom? Mom, I've never even heard of it. Mom, as usual, you are a real creep. You gave him the keys. You gave a complete stranger who happens to mention my name the keys to our house. Mom, sometimes it is obvious to me why Dad left.
on him. Dad told me that you were a rotten lover, that you drank so much, your body smelled of cheap white wine. He said that sleeping with you was like sleeping with a salad made of bad dressing. Why did you have to bring me into the world?
There are two sides to every story.
You are an idiot! An idiot! Yeah!
Well, I went home courageously with the detective. Arrest him! Arrest him!
Pardon?
Breaking and entering.
Breaking and entering.
You're an imposter.
Officer, Your Honor, Your Eminence. Dr. Fine gave me the keys to the brownstone. Isn't that so?
My son doesn't know you.
This woman gave me the keys to the house. Isn't that so?
Did you give the key to the house?
Yes, but under false pretenses. This fucking black kid crack addict comes into my office
I have
live.
taken this much brandy, but before the rest back into the bottle. And I use electricity, listening to the radio. But I think you will find that nothing is taken from the house.
Arrest this fraud!
A creep! A creep! No wonder Dad left you.
Two sides of every story.
I went down to the Strand bookstore. 8 miles of used books. Picked up Sidney Poitier's autobiography. Back in New York with Juanita and the kids, I began to realize that our marriage, while working on some levels, was falling apart in other fundamental areas.
Here. Well, there's a picture of him and his 4 daughters. No sons, just daughters. The book's called This Life. Published by Knopf, 1980. Out of print.
Oh, dear. Oh, this kid bulldozing his way into our lives.
We let him in our lives. I run a foundation. You're a dealer. You're a doctor. You'd think we'd be satisfied with our achievements. Agatha Christie would ask, what do we all have in common?
Seems the common thread linking us is an overwhelming need to be in the movie version of Cats. Our kids struggling through their lives.
I don't want to know anything about the spillover of their lives.
The only thing we have in common is our children went to boarding school together.
Now, how come we never met?
His father had custody. I lived out west, and after I graduated from high school, his father moved west, so I moved east.
I think we should drop it right here.
Are you afraid Ben is mixed up in this fraud?
I don't want to know too much about my kid.
You think Ben is hiding things from us. I tell you, I'm getting to the bottom of this. My son has no involvement with any black fraud. Doctor, you said something about crack.
I don't want to know.
It just leaked out of my mouth with no proof. Here, come no proof.
We'll take a vote. Do we pursue this to the end, no matter what we find out about our kids?
I vote yes.
I trust God, yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Listen to the last page. Making it better for our children. Protecting them. From what? The truth is what we were protecting those little people from. There is a lot to worry about, and I'd better start telling the little bastard to start worrying. The end.
Fucking shit!
Now it's obvious. It's somebody you went to high school with, since each of you go to different colleges.
He knows the details about our lives.
Who in your high school, part of your gang, has become a homosexual or is deep in the drugs?
That's like about 15 people.
What's enough?
I find it really insulting that you would assume it has to be a guy. I mean, this movie starts saying he could have had a relationship with a girl in high school.
That's your fucking problem in a nutshell. You are so limited!
That's why I'm going to Afghanistan. To climb mountains.
You are not climbing mountains.
We have not invested all this money in you for you to go and scale the face of K2.
Is that all I have to do? An investment?
Are you all right to track down be a drug dealer.
Why do you look at me when you say that? Do you think I'm an addict? Do you think I'm a dealer? I will resent the accusation.
No one is accusing you of anything.
I don't want to know.
Shut up!
I don't want to know! No one is accusing anyone of anything. No. I'm asking you to go on a detective search and find out from your high school class if anyone's been a black pretending to be a movie star.
Promise me parts again.
No, it wasn't just that. It was fun. You went to Cats, Mother. You said it was an all-time low and a lifetime of theater-going. Film is a different medium.
You said Aeschylus did not invent the theater to have it wind up a bunch of chorus kids wondering which one of them will go to Kitty Cat Heaven.
I don't understand.
No, I think that was Starlight Express.
Well, maybe you make a movie of Starlight Express and you can all be on roller skates.
This is so humiliating.
This is so pathetic.
This is so racist.
This is not racist.
How can I get in touch with anybody from high school? I'm already outgrown them.
How can you outgrow them? You graduated a year ago.
Here's a copy of your yearbook. I know I want you to get all the phone numbers of everybody in your class. Well, if it's the same boarding school, you can vote for me.
You can charge it to my phone.
Call everyone. Ask if they would happen to know someone.
Never.
This is the KGB.
You are on the phone all the time. Now I ask you to make calls all over the country and you become worse.
This is the entire McCarthy period.
I just want to get one thing straight. Finally, we hear from the peanut gallery. You gave him my pink shirt? Oh. You gave the big stranger my pink shirt? That shirt was a Christmas present from you. I love that shirt. I treasure that shirt. My collar had grown a complete size from weightlifting. You saw that my arms had grown. You saw that my neck had grown. You bought me that shirt for my new body. The first shirt for my new body. And you just gave it away. I can't believe it. I hate it here. I hate this house. I hate you.
You've never done anything for me.
You've never done anything to try to block me.
I'm on this pathetic extension of your eighth-grade personality.
Social Darwinism pushed beyond all limits.
You gave away my pink shirt.
You said drugs and you looked at me.
Trent Conway. Trent Conway. Look at those beady little eyes staring at me. Trent Conway. He's at MIT. So I went to MIT, and he was there in his computer room, and I just pressed him and pressed him and pressed him. I had a tape recorder strapped to me.
Yes, I'm involved.
But what happened between you?
Well, it was, this is the way you must speak. You hear my accent. You hear my voice. Never say you're going horseback riding. Say you're going right. And don't say it out. You say, bottle. It's bottle. You say, bottle, beer.
Bottle of fucking beer, man! What's this?
It's my address book.
All these names, addresses. Tell me about these names.
I want you to come to bed with me.
Tell me about these people, man!
I just wanted to look at you. Sorry.
I'll be keeping rich.
No.
I think it must be very hard to be with rich people. You have to have money, you gotta be on credit.
A rich person does something nice for you. You give them a pot of jam.
Oh, so that's what pots of jam are for.
Orange grapefruit strawberry, but fancy. They have entire stores filled with fancy pots of jam out in the park. English or French.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put your name. What is it? Secret. And for each name, you get all right now. Here, Kyle and Willis Rock.
She was called Tess. She was anorexic and in a hospital for a while.
Their parents.
Their parents, Louisa and Flanders Education, Newport, Rhode Island. But not the street along the ocean, the street behind that. He's an art dealer. There. What was he? A double-sided. Put that up there. I feel like Scheherazade. I don't want you to leave me, Paul. I'll go through my address book, and I'll tell you about family after family. You'll never know what it is. I'll give you a new identity. I'll make you the most eagerly sought after young man. They'll come into one of those homes one day. You'll be there. I'll be presented to you. And I'll pretend to meet you for the first time. And our friendship will be witnessed by my friends. By my parents. If it all happens under their noses, they can't judge me. They can't disparage you. I'll make you a guest in their homes. Go ahead, ask me their name. I'd like to read it first. Paul stayed with me for 3 months. We went through that address book letter by letter. He vanished by the L's. He took the address book with him. Well, I've already been to your home, so maybe I'll meet him again. Sure would like to. I don't know anything about him. It was a rainy night in Boston. He was in a doorway. That's all. Oh, besides my address book, he took my stereo, and my sports jacket, and my monitor, and my laser printer, and my skis, and my TV.
We press charges. has played me the tapes. You believe it? Paul learned all of that in 3 months. 3 months. Who would have thought it? Trent Conway, the Henry Higgins of our time. Paul looked at those names and he said, I am Columbus. I am Magellan. I will sail into this new world. You know, I read somewhere that everybody on the planet is separated by 6 other people. 6 degrees of separation between us and everybody else on the planet. Oh, the President of the United States, a gondolier in Venice, you fill in the names. Find that A tremendously comforting, we're so close. And B, like Chinese water torture, we're so close. Because you have to find the right 6 people to make that connection. It's not just big names. No, it's anyone. A native in a rainforest, a Tiananmen, oh, an Eskimo. I am bound to everyone on this planet by a trail of 6 other people. Oh, it's a profound thought. How Paul found us. How to find the man whose son he pretends to be, or perhaps is his son. Although I doubt it. How every person is a new door opening up into other worlds. 6 degrees of separation between me and everybody else on the planet. But to find the right 6 people.
We didn't hear for a while. We went about our lives.
And then one day, our doorman, who we did very well at Christmas, and any other time he does anything nice for us, spit at my husband.
Hey,
Jay Landers Kittredge, I mean just spit at him.
your son! I'm all about your son. What about my son? Not the little shit who lives here. The other son. The secret son. The Negroes. The Negro son. The black son. You make live in Central Park.
The next chapter. Rick and Elizabeth and Paul sit on the grass in Central Park. Oh.
If I
We're from Utah.
Do they have any black people in Utah?
Oh, maybe 2. I think the Mormons brought in 2. We came to be actors. She won the all-state competition for comedy and drama.
My gosh.
The quality of mercy is not strained. It trieth. The gentle rain from heaven.
Oh.
And we study and wait tables.
Because you have to have technique.
Like the painters. Cezanne looked for the rules behind the spontaneity of impressionism.
Says who? That's a painter.
We don't know anything about painting.
My dad loves paintings. He has a Kandinsky. But he likes Cezanne the most. He lives up there.
What?
He lives up there. John Flanders Kittredge. His sons call him Flood. I was the son of Plans. Hippie days! His radical days. He went down south as a freedom marcher to register black voters.
Fight the power!
Fight the power! His friends were killed. Met my mother, registered her, married her to offend a sentimental righteousness, and knocked her up with me. And abandoned her.
Oh, bro.
Came back here, went to Harvard. He's now a fancy argument. Don't see me though, the new wife, the white wife, the Louisa Kittredge call me Risa wife, the mother's new kids wife.
Your brothers and sisters?
Oh, they go to Andover and Exeter and Harvard and Yale. The awful thing is my father started out good. My mother says there's a good man inside J. Flanders Kittredge.
Oh, he'll see you if he was that good. He can't forget you entirely.
I call, he hangs up.
Well, go to his office.
He doesn't have an office. He works out of there. They won't even let me in the elevator.
Dress up as a messenger.
Yeah, say you got a masterpiece for him. I got the Mona Lisa waiting in the truck.
I don't want to embarrass him. Oh, this is so fucking tacky! Do you guys love each other?
A lot.
I hope we meet again.
Well, where do you live?
Liv? I'm home.
You're not out on the streets.
You are such assholes!
Stay with us.
Yes. Well, we just have a railroad flight in a tenement.
It's over a roller disco. The last of the great roller discos. But it's quiet by 5 in the morning, and there's a great narrow space.
A railroad lock. And we could give you a corner. The tub's in the kitchen, but there's light in the morning.
And he did. This is the way you must speak. In my accent, in my voice, never say you're going horseback riding. You say you're going right. And don't say couch. Say sofa. And you say bottle. It's bottle. Say bottle of beer.
Bottle of beer.
Bottle of beer. And never be afraid of rich people. You know what they like? A fancy pot of jam. That's all. Give yourself a patron. You shouldn't be waiting tables. You're gonna wake up one day, and the temporary job you got to stay alive is gonna be your full-time life. You've given me encouragement. I'm gonna go out and see him right now. I gotta go.
I'll tell you all the parts that I want to play. Vanya and Uncle Vanya.
Oh, Masha and 3 sisters. No, Irina first. The young one who yearns for love. Then Masha who loves. Then Olga, the oldest, who never knows love.
I'd like a shot at Laertes. I think it's a much better part.
Do you think it'll hurt me?
Think what'll hurt you?
My resemblance to Liv Ullmann.
He wrote me. I wrote him and he wrote me back. He sold a Cezanne to the Japanese and made millions. He gave me the money without her even knowing it. I'm moving out of here. No. But I'm going to give you the money to show us any play you want. And you'll be in it, and you'll be singing, and agents will come and see you, and you'll be stoned. And when you win your Oscars, boom, you're going to look at that camera and thank him.
I'd like to thank Paul Kittredge.
Thanks, Paul.
One hitch. I'm supposed to meet him in Maine. He's up there visiting his parents in Dark Harbor. Oh, my grandparents whom I've never met. He's gonna make up for lost time, give me the money, I can go back home, Get my mama that beauty parlor she's wanted all her life. One hitch. How am I gonna get to Maine? I mean, she handles all the purse strings. He has to account for the money. How am I gonna get $250 just to get to Maine?
How long would you need the money for?
I'd be gone a week, but I can borrow it back to you.
Oh, we could loan it to him for a week.
Yeah, what if something happens?
Oh, you're just like his stepmother. All these women holding onto the purse strings.
We worked too hard to save this. I'm sorry. I'll see you both after work. If your father really loves you, he'll get you the ticket up there.
We went by a bank. I withdrew the money. And he took it.
Let's celebrate!
I went to the money machine to withdraw $20 and I couldn't get anything. The machine devoured my card. So I called up that emergency number and the voice said my account was closed. They had withdrawn all the money and closed the account. So I went to that apartment on Fifth Avenue and I told that doorman, I want my money. I work tables, I work hard, I saved. I'm here just trying to get to meet people and now I'm stranded. I mean, who do I know to go to? Oh, the quality of mercy is not straying. Well, fuck you, quality of mercy. Fuck you!
He told me that he had some of his own money, and he wanted to treat me. We went to a store that rented tuxedos, and we dressed to the nines. We went to the Rainbow Room. Oh, we danced. High above New York City. I swear. He stood up and held out my chair, and we danced, and there was a stir. Nothing like this had ever happened in Utah. Oh, and we danced, and I'll tell you, nothing like that must have ever happened at the Rainbow Room either, because we were asked to leave. It was so funny. And we walked out, and we walked home, and I knew Elizabeth would be waiting for me, and I'd have to explain to her about the money and calm her down because we'll get it back, but I forgot. Because we took a carriage ride home in the park, and he asked me if he could fuck me, and I'd never done anything like that before. And he did. And it was wonderful. It was the best night I had ever had, and before we got home, he kissed me on the mouth and we danced. Later, I found out that he had no money of his own. He had used my money, our money, on that night at the Rainbow Room. How am I going to face Elizabeth? What have I done? No, what did I let him do to me? What an experience. I came here to have experience, but I did not come here to do this, or to lose that, or to be this, or to do this to Elizabeth. I did not come here to be this.
body in the street.
My legs were still shaking from the roller skating, which I have not done in, I hate to tell you how many years. And we knew the body had just laid there in that clump.
Because the blood seeping out hadn't reached the gutter yet.
You could see the blood just oozing slowly towards the curb.
The boy had jumped from above.
The next day, we took a walk through the park by Gracie Mansion.
And it was cold. And we saw police putting a jacket on a man sitting on a bench.
Only we got closer, and it wasn't a sweater.
It was a body bag. A homeless person had frozen during the night.
Was it that cold?
Sometimes there are periods where you see death everywhere.
This young girl came forward with the story. She told me the black kid was yours and lived here. It all seemed to come into places. What I'm saying is, she'll press charges.
I want him dead. He took all our money. He took my life. Rick is dead. Oh, you bet your life I'll press charges.
We haven't seen him since that night. Find him. We have a case.
Well, I have friends. I'll release it to the papers. I'll call the Times.
Which is what happened.
The paper of note, the Times, ran a story on so-called sophisticated tough New Yorkers being boondoggled by a confidence man now wanted by the police. Who says New Yorkers don't have heart? They promised they would either run in the living section or the home section.
The story ran
In the B section, front page.
Smart New Yorkers.
We never heard from Sidney Poitier.
6 degrees. 6 degrees. We are bidding on a Matisse tonight.
I know we'll get it. We'll go as high as,
Don't tell all the family secrets.
well, over 25 million.
Out of which he will keep?
Well, I'll have to give most of it away, but the good part is, it gives me a credibility in this new market. I mean, a David fucking Hockney print sold for $100 15 years ago went for $34,000. A print. A flower. I mean, you know Joffrey, our South African...
African. Sotheby's.
I know we'll get it.
Planning.
Oh. Yes. I know the Matisse will be mine. Well, for a few hours, and then it's off to Tokyo or Saudi.
I am totally dolled up for black. Have you seen it? Oh. I have to tell you the sign I saw today. Cruelty-free cosmetics. A store was selling cruelty-free cosmetics.
Mother, that's such a beautiful thing. Do you realize the agony cosmetic companies put little brackets through just to test eyeshadow?
First, I know that I'm only talking about the phrase. Well, cruelty-free cosmetics should take away all evidence of time.
Mother, I'm getting married.
Oh, I thought you were going to Afghanistan.
I'm going to get married and then go to Afghanistan.
One country at a time, and you are not getting married.
Immediately, so deeply negative.
I know everyone you know, and you are not marrying any of them.
The arrogance that you would assume you know everyone I know. The way you say it. I know everyone you know.
Unless you've met them in the last 2 days, you can't hold the secret. Wait, let me put you on hold.
No, just hold on, mother.
Hello?
Man, I saw the story in the paper. I did not know the boy killed himself. He gave me the money.
Let me put you on hold. I'm talking about...
No! You put me on hold, I'll be gone, and you'll never hear from me again.
You have to turn yourself in. The boy committed suicide. The girl is pressing charge. You stole money. Oh,
help me?
What do you want me to do?
Stay with you?
No, that's impossible.
Why?
My husband feels you betrayed me.
Do you?
And you have time up on the street. Are you suicidal? Do you have AIDS? Are you infected?
I don't have it. It's a miracle, but I don't. Do you feel I'll trade you? If you do, I'll hang up and never bother you
Well,
again.
where have you been?
Travel.
You're not in trouble? I mean, more trouble?
No, I only visited you. I didn't like the first people so much. They just went out and left me alone. I didn't like the doctor. She was too eager to please, and she left me alone. But you and your husband, we all stayed together.
What did you want from us?
Everlasting friendship.
Nobody has that.
You do.
What do you think we are?
You're going to tell me secrets. You're not what you appear to be. You have no secrets. Trent Conway told me what your kid told him over the years.
You told him about it.
I don't tell that. I say that for black men.
Then perhaps I'd better hang up.
No! I went to a museum. I like to loose a track.
Well, you should.
I read you Andy Warhol diaries.
Oh, you've become an aesthete.
Are you laughing at me?
No, I read them too.
I read The Agony and the Ecstasy by Irving Stone about Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel.
You're an empty there?
Have you seen the Sistine Chapel?
Yes. Have you even been to the top of it in a rickety old elevator to watch it get cleaned?
You've been to the top of the Sistine Chapel.
Absolutely. Oh. Stood right under the hand of God, touching the hand of man. The workman says, it is only a fresco. And I did.
You did?
I slapped God's hand.
You did.
And you know what they cleaned?
What?
All the same. Q-tips and water.
No.
Yes. Clean away the years of grime and soot and fatal. Q-tips and water changed the history of Western Europe.
Take me to see it.
Oh, they think you might have murdered somebody. You stole money.
Honey, could you give me a hand, please?
Oh.
I'll call that a detective.
Dad, we don't cut off. I'm getting
Darling, could you call back, please?
I'm getting married and I'm going to Afghanistan.
Call back.
I'm going to throw my husband and get married and throw away everything you ever gave me because it's the only way to hurt you.
I've got that kid on the line.
Find out where he is.
Find out where he is.
Who's there?
Look. Why don't you come here? Where are you?
Shit, I come there, you got the cops waiting on me.
We have to trust us.
Why?
Because we like you.
Where is he?
Who is there?
It's planned.
Are you guys in? I could come and make a feast for you.
No, we're going out tonight, but you could be here when we get back.
Are you nuts? We're going out the house.
Well, where are you guys going?
To something.
The kid's under the mat.
Can I go to Sotheby's?
No.
I said hi to Flan.
Oh. How's that?
Hi.
Hi.
Great, I'll come.
No, you can't.
I was helpful last time.
Thank you. He was it.
Paul, you were very helpful in getting me this contract.
Really? Because I was thinking that's what I should do, is what you do in art, but making money out of art, not working in an office.
You only see the grand side of it. There's a whole grind side.
Well, I can learn the grind side.
You have to have art history, you have to have language, you have to have economics.
I'm fast. I can do it. Do your kids want to do what you do?
It's not really a profession you hand down from dinner. What am I talking to? You're counseling and you. You embarrassed me in my building. You stole money. That is a board doctor. You're arrested.
No. Don't hang up. Are you there? Paul? Are you there?
I'm here. you let me stay with you, I'll tell you. That night, that was the happiest night I ever had.
So it was the happiest night he's ever had.
Please. I am not a bullshitter. Yeah, a bullshitter.
What?
You let me use all the parts of myself that night.
That sounds your stuff?
Graduation speech at Groton 2 years ago.
Your cookie.
Other people's recipes. Did you read Donald Bartholomew's obituary? He said collage was the art form of the 20th century.
Everything is somebody else.
Not your kids, not your life.
Yes. You got me there. It is mine. It is no one else's.
You don't sound happy.
So much you don't know. You are so smart and so
Never say that I am
You
stupid!
have some flexibility. You're stupid not to recognize what you could be.
Oh, and what could I be?
So much.
Oh, with you behind me?
Perhaps. Really like that? I thought since then you spent your time laughing.
No!
That you brought that awful hustling thing back to Georgia your contempt.
I only did it because I was happy. I wanted to add sex to it. Don't you do that?
No.
I'll tell you my name. It's Paul Poirier Kitteridge. It's a hyphenated name.
Oh, please, go to the police. Turn yourself and you'll be over and over sooner. You can start
Start what?
your life.
Will you help me?
I will help you. But first, you have to go to the police. You have to go to
Will you
jail.
send me books and Polaroids of you and cassettes and letters?
Yeah.
Will you come and visit me?
I will visit you.
And when you do, you'll wear your best clothes and knock them dead?
I'm not. You have to be careful in prison, Paul. You have to use condoms.
I won't have sex in prison. I only have sex when I'm happy.
Go to the police.
Will you take me?
I'll give you the name of the detective.
I'll be treated with care if you take me to the police. If they don't know you're special, they kill you.
Don't be thinking.
Miss Louisa Kitteridge, I am black.
I will take you to the police. I will take you to them with kindness and affection.
And I'll go to prison and serve a few months.
A few months tops.
And come out and work for you and learn all the tricks. I want to know now.
Yes.
And-
Yes, you'll work for it.
And learned all the trade, not just the karate part.
Top to bottom.
And stay with me.
No.
Your kids are away.
Well, you should have your own place.
Will you help me find a place?
We'll help you find a place.
I have no furniture.
We'll work that out.
I made a list of things I liked at the museum. Philadelphia Chippendale.
Oh, believe it or not, we have 2 Philadelphia Chippendale chairs.
All I have to do is go to the police.
Yes, make it all history, put it behind you.
Tonight.
It can't be tonight. I'll take you tomorrow. I have an auction tonight. Something.
Great, I'll come.
Oh, it's black tie.
I have a black tie. Oh, from the time I went to the Rainbow Room. Have you ever been to the Rainbow Room?
Yes.
What time do you have to be there?
8 o'clock.
Well, it's 5:30 now. Come and get me, take me to the police station.
No.
Southern...
No, I have drinks before the Ritz.
Japanese?
German.
You are just like my father.
Which father?
Sit down.
Oh, he is not your father, and Flanders is not your father.
Fuck. Sick. See, get off that fucking phone. Is that kid? Get out of the line. Get off that fucking phone or rip it out of the wall.
Paul, you right now. Tell me where you are. I will take you to the police. They will treat you with dignity.
I'm in the lobby of the Waverly Movie Theater at 6th Avenue and 3rd Street.
We'll be there in half an hour.
I'll give you 15 minutes grace time.
We'll be there, Paul.
Louisa? I love you, Louisa Kitteridge. Hey, bring me a pink shirt.
You'll have a wonderful life. We can skip the schmoozing, pick up the boys, the police, get something fight.
He's at the Waverly Movie Theatre, 6th Avenue and 3rd Street. Go along.
He's special. Remember that he's special. We promised we would bring him to you. Honor our promise. We go. Traffic on 5th Avenue.
We get there. I run into the theater. No one.
A young man, black. Have you seen him?
The girl in the box office said the police had been there, had arrested a young man, dragged him kicking, screaming to a squad car. He was a kid waiting for his family. We never got through or found out.
You weren't there. And we didn't know Paul's name. I called the precinct. Another precinct had made the arrest. Why? Were there other charges? I couldn't find out. I wasn't family. I didn't know Paul's name. I called the district attorney's office and I wasn't family. I didn't know Paul's name. I called the criminal courts and I wasn't family. I didn't know Paul's name.
Why does it mean so much to you?
He wanted to be us. Everything we are in this world, this paltry thing, our blood. He wanted it. He stabbed himself to get in here. He envied us. We're not enough to be envied.
Well, like the papers said, we have hearts.
Oh, I mean, our heart is not the point. We were hardly taken in. We believed him. For a few hours. He did more for us in those few hours than our children ever did. He wanted to be your child. Don't let that go. He sat out in that park, and he said, that man is my father. He's in trouble, and we don't know how to help him.
Help him? He could have killed me and you.
You were attracted to him.
You cut me out of that pathology. You are on
Attracted by his youth and his talent and the embarrassing prospect of being in the movie version of Pat. You had had your time, Pete. And we turned him into this anecdote and died out on. Died in on. It was an experience. I will not turn him into an anecdote. How do we fit what happened into our lives without turning it into an anecdote with no teeth and a punchline we'll mouth over and over for years to come? Oh, hey, why don't you tell us a story about that imposter who got home? That reminds me of the time that this boy. We become these human jukeboxes, spilling out these anecdotes, but it was an experience. God, how do we keep the experience?
That's why I love paintings. Cézanne. The problems he brought up are the problems painters are still dealing with. Color, structure, those are problems.
There is color in my life, but I'm not aware of any structure.
Cézanne would leave blank spaces in his canvases if he couldn't account for the brushstroke, give a reason for the color.
Then I'm a collage of unaccounted for brushstrokes. I'm all random. God, plan. How much of your life can you account for?
Are you drunk? The Cezanne sale went through. We are rich. Geoffrey is rich. Tonight there's a Matisse we'll get, and after that a
These
Bonnard.
are the times I would take a knife and dig your heart out. You answer me. How much of your
life can I account for? All. I am a gambler.
You're a terrible match. Time passes. I read today that a young man committed suicide in Rikers Island prison. He tied a shirt around his neck and he hanged himself. Was it the pink shirt? Pink, this burst of pink. Is it called? Who are you? We never found out who you are.
I'm sure it's not him. He'll be back. We haven't heard the last of him. The imagination. He'll find a way. Oh, we have to go. An auction. I'll get the elevator.
Was the pink shirt. Pink, this burst of pink. The Sistine Chapel, they cleaned it and it's all these colors.
Darling?
The Kandinsky. It's a double. It's painted on two sides.